I am making maple bourbon walnut ice cream. And it's going to be only slightly keto friendly, and it'll be very easy for you to make it into a non-keto friendly ice cream. So the thing that's going to make it un-keto friendly is that I'm going to be using real maple syrup. So let's get started with the ingredients. And then we have 2/3 of a cup of allulose sugar. This is a new product for me. I've heard that using allulose makes it so that the ice cream doesn't get as hard, so that I don't have to use as much alcohol in it to prevent it from just being a block of milky ice, milky sugary ice in the freezer. So this will be an experiment day. Yay, experiments. In addition to a large heavy pot, you're going to need a wooden spoon, at least one whisk. I have 2, and a glass bowl for the tempering of the egg yolks. Now for the flavors. 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. You're probably asking, what's with the big ass container of maple syrup? That is from my dad. Hi, Dad. Dad makes maple syrup, and my family has been making maple syrup for years and years. I actually grew up with my cousins making maple syrup on my grandparents' farm in Minnesota, and now my dad taps trees in his backyard. So every year I get the gift of maple syrup. 1 ounce of a good quality bourbon, toasted walnuts. Spread them on a sheet pan in the oven at 350 degrees and bake them for about 8 minutes, but I would suggest at about 7 minutes you want to just start making sure that you're checking on them often so that you don't burn, because nuts will burn very quickly if left unintended. You will want to wait until just before you're done churning the ice cream before you add the toasted walnuts, because if they sat in the mixture for 4 hours to 24 hours and then sat in the machine while it churned the ice cream, the nuts will probably get chewy and soft. So you're going to want to wait and put those aside until it's time to start churning the ice cream. So the first thing that you'll want to do is add the half and half and the cream and the allulose. And then stir it up, and you'll want to heat this up to make sure the sugar is well dissolved, not let it come to a simmer or a boil. Let's talk about the ice cream maker. So this is my ice cream maker. It's one of the better brands. So the parts of it are simply the interior well, the cover, but the important part is the ice cream bowl that sits inside that you store in your freezer, because you have to have it very, very, very ice cold before you start making ice cream with it. Unfortunately, that means you can only make 1 batch probably every day, which has been disappointing in the past when I've wanted to just make a bunch of ice cream in one go. You can buy these parts separately, so you can actually have 2 or 3 of these. Another thing you should have is a small sieve, because to make sure that you don't get any of those eggy chunks that might have happened in the tempering, after the tempering process, when you put it into the pan, you want to run it through the sieve so that it gets rid of all of that stuff. So let's just whip these up so they get nice and incorporated and creamy. So this is what is called tempering the egg yolks. So I'm going to put some hot cream into here, and I'm just going to put just a little bit of the egg yolk here and just mix it in. The reason you do this is to stop the eggs from curdling in the hot liquid, because then you'll just end up with scrambled egg ice cream. Some more hot liquid in. So as you can see now, there's no curdled eggs, so this should be good to mix it into the larger batch. And as you can see, there's no dark orange flecks floating in there, and that means that we were successful in preventing scrambled egg. It's ice cream.
So I'm just going to throw the salt in there.
So now we're going to heat the mixture up to 170 degrees.
This is going to simmer until when we do this, it's a bit of a thicker. So you want to heat this up over medium-high heat. You do not want it to get hot too fast or it will burn to the bottom of the pan. Okay, that is heated to 170 degrees. This is what you want to look for. And then we'll just add in the vanilla, the alcohol, and the maple syrup.
I'm not wasting a drop. Now, if you wanted to keep this keto friendly and omit the maple syrup, alternatively, you could replace the 2 tablespoons of maple syrup with probably about 2 to 3 teaspoons of artificial maple flavoring. But why would you? So one of the most difficult parts about making ice cream at home is definitely the waiting. What I'm going to suggest you do is use a ice bath to cool it down as fast as possible outside of the refrigerator so that you can get it in the fridge as fast as possible, so that you can get the ice cream in your mouth as fast as possible.
So as I mentioned, you do not want to put this in the fridge to start cooling down when it's warm. You could also just fill your sink with ice and water and put the whole container in there. Let's see what temperature we have it at. So this mixture is still at about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Still way too warm to put in the fridge. And when that time comes, cover the top with plastic wrap. Put it in the fridge from 4 hours to 24 hours.
So in order for something to be called ice cream, it has to have at least 10% fat. A standard ice cream base is one that contains heavy cream and or milk, and then in this case I'm going to say and or half and half. So this is definitely ice cream, but it is also a custard based ice cream, and to be considered a custard based ice cream, the mixture has to include egg yolks. Welcome to day 2. I did let the ice cream base sit in the fridge overnight, so it had about a full 24 hours to get cold because I want to have a successful churn. So let's get churning.
So we have a fully frozen 2-quart ice cream churn, and I actually did put the paddle in overnight. This is the mixture after it's been in the fridge for 24 hours. You can see it's really, really thick. So we just empty that completely into this container. Okay, now that I've scraped all the ice cream mixture into the container, set that aside. So this just goes right into here. Put the churning paddle in. Just stop it about halfway through to scrape down the bits that might be sticking to the side and the bottom. Ideally, you would want to use a silicone scraper or a plastic scraper, but obviously that is not being done right now.
This is a good opportunity to taste the ice cream and see how it's turned out so far. You can taste the bourbon, not so much the maple syrup, sadly.
With the texture about that, looks like it is time to throw in the nuts.
when I was a little girl, we used to make ice cream in the bathtub with rock salt and ice and an actual hand churning ice cream maker that my brothers and I would take turns churning. We did not have ice cream very often. And there we have maple bourbon walnut ice cream. Now, you can just eat this as is, as soft serve ice cream, or you could put it in the refrigerator for probably about an hour, and then you can make scoops. And there you have maple bourbon walnut ice cream from scratch. Thank you for watching my video today. Please like and subscribe to my channel and turn on those notifications so that you get an alert whenever I drop a new video. Thank you for watching today. Today I'm going to be making bourbon. So you've used 7 egg yolks, but what are you going to do with those egg whites? I suggest either freezing them for another time or turning them into meringue, which will be very delicious. So one of the most difficult parts about making ice cream at home is definitely the waiting. That was no good. Thank you for watching my video today. Please like and subscribe to my channel so that you get notifications